Hey, look who's back. Look who's back. There he is.
Sorry, I'm trying to turn on the TV so I can watch the games today, since there's all day games, which I don't understand how there weren't day games yesterday, but that's a whole different story.
Wait. Yesterday was Tuesday.
I know, but they were all night games. There were no day games.
But every Tuesday, there's no day games.
Not early in the season, normally. Normally, they're night games. Or day games, sorry.
I guess so.
Night games, I don't know.
That one I'll give the schedule makers a pass on. I feel like Tuesdays are for night games.
Why wouldn't you rather play? Would you rather play in Chicago at 1 o'clock when it's somewhat sunny and warm, or 7 o'clock when it's freezing balls cold?
I love freezing balls.
Okay, perfect. See, that's why, Scott, you should work for MLB.
No thanks. Did that for 12 years.
Hold on, I gotta order my intern around here for a second. Hold on.
All right. Well, what's up, everyone? AJ's back in prime form. We're going to ask him about a couple things before we start. But actually, while he's doing that, since he won't be part of this later, let me let you know about Playback. So tonight, we're going to do our first alt cast. You can call it a watch party, a watch along, whatever you want to call it. Okay? All you need to know is that Kratz isn't invited, but hopefully he'll watch. And he'll be on later this month, 7 o'clock Eastern time. You can go sign up now. It's a free app or online at playback.tv/foul territory. Get yourself an account. And for the first time, it won't just be a watch party where we're all trying to sync up our screens at the same time. We will actually watch the same stream at the same time. We're going to do Diamondbacks and Yankees. You can sign up now so that we know you're there and you're coming. And we'll talk about those two teams. Obviously, we'll basically give you an alt cast of the game. Derek Lewandowski, Pinstripe Territory host, our buddy, and Jesse Friedman, who is new to the party with Snakes Territory. He's going to stop by for a couple innings. Cam Maben is getting himself all prepped and ready to go too. So we're excited for that. And hopefully we'll talk to AJ again in a minute because I wanted to ask him about one or two things before we charge. But we can just charge.
He's charging the mound.
AJ, let's go over some things that have happened since you've been gone. One thing that has not happened since you've been gone: the Braves winning their first game of the season. So that's a problem. They also lost Jerks and Profar for half the season to a PED suspension. And then yesterday, we learned that Reynaldo Lopez has to get a little procedure done. So what is the panic meter at in Braves country?
It should be pretty high. I was on 2016 team. We lost the first 9 games, I believe. And we started 0-9. So I feel like they're not going to be that bad. This team is way better than we were in 2016. So, but listen, there's an old saying in baseball: you can't win the pennant in April, but you can lose it. And they had some bad news come their way. I mean, the guy who lost the game on the first day was DFA'd, Hector Neris. One of their all-star starting pitchers is out for who knows how long in Reynaldo Lopez, and their big offseason acquisition was suspended for 80 games for taking steroids. So this was rough. Yeah, we won 68 games in 2016. They're not going to be that bad. The biggest thing for me on that whole thing, 1 for 34 with runners in scoring position. I did their game on Saturday. At the time, they were like 1 for 21-ish, but now they're up to 1 for 34. If you're 1 for 34, you ain't going to win hardly any games. You're relying too much on homers, and they're not. They're, in San Diego and LA are tough places to hit homers. So I think that they're going to be better, but they're not going to be this bad. But it's going to be a struggle.
Somebody's going to have to step up. The biggest thing, when you lose that big of a piece of your starting rotation, somebody has to step up. Obviously, we saw what Schwellenbach did. 2 years ago, we saw what Bryce Elder did. Like, the Braves have a knack for figuring out pitching coming out of nowhere, or in a sense of like prospects, like just being ready to come up to the big leagues. Everybody hits bumps in the road. Different guys. They got rid of Ian Anderson already. They traded him. And, you thought for the last few years he'd be a guy that would come up and step in. The Braves always do it. They figure out how to take care of their pitching. How do you take care of 1 for 34 with runners in scoring position? Easy. You wash your cleats. You come in. You play another game. That's the beauty of baseball. It's also the sucky part of baseball. You're 0-6. You're like, man, we could use like maybe 2 off days. When you're 7-0, you're like, let's play 13 more in a row. Like, it's one of those things you just got to get back out there as an offense and believe in who they are. This lineup has very few holes in it, And yet right now, everybody's a hole. So you know what? Water level's out. They're going to get better.
By the way, in 1988, they started 0-10. I had a family member who was in college at the time, refused to go to class until they won that year. So he went 10 days without going to class just because he was such a Braves fan. And he's like, I'm going to support my team. And his family wasn't very happy because they were thinking, like, you're going to fail out of school. But they finally won, so he got to go back to class. Now he has a nice job.
Maybe that tradition will be passed on.
Yeah. 0-9 was rough. Listen, we were 0-9. It was everything tasted bad. The food tasted bad. The beer tasted bad. The road trips tasted bad. The home games tasted bad. Everything. I mean, you start 0-9. It was that's what led to Brian Snitker being the manager. He was fired, or Freddie Gonzalez was fired that year, and then they went on to hire Brian Snitker, who went on to lead them to a World Series. So I don't think Brian Snitker is getting fired anytime soon, but they need to try something, and I don't know what it is because Murphy's coming back, I know, but man, it just losing Profar and losing Lopez in the same 24 hours is rough, man.
Did you know you were bad? Did you know? Because every spring training, but
no, we knew we were bad.
You knew?
We knew, yeah, because I was on the team the year before, and we were good. And then we were 49 and 49 or something, 41 and 41. It was like right at the halfway point. We went to Colorado, and we traded away everybody. And we were actually ahead of the Mets that year, and they went to the World Series. The Mets traded and got Kelly Johnson, who was on our team, and went out and got some trades. We even traded everybody away. We ended up losing, I don't know how many games, but yeah, we going into 2016, we're like, we're not going to be very good. They knew it because they were building for the next year for Truist. They had Fried and Acuna and Riley and all these guys coming in the minor leagues. But yeah, we knew we weren't going to be very good.
I want to run through Scott Coleman's tweet, our Hammer Territory host. He said, need to clear up one thing I've heard from multiple sources connected to the team. It's pretty obvious Alex Anthopoulos got his hands tied by ownership this winter. They screwed him. You could argue he could have tried to make trades, but then you deplete the farm even more. They did acquire Jurickson Profar about a month ago, AJ, for 3 years. And what was it, 42 or 45? 42 mil. So that was a decent level signing that I guess could have been utilized on pitching, but they also felt like they needed another bat, another outfield guy, another on base guy, also another guy to hold down the offense and make it look really strong while Ronald Acuna Jr. returns. He's going to miss half the year, and we don't know what version of him we'll get when he returns.
No, nobody knows. Hopefully he'll be fully healthy. He's been through this before, so hopefully he'll be fully healthy. But listen, as a Braves fan growing up, and still root for the Braves because a lot of people, Chris Sale, Brian Snitker, a lot of the guys that are there, Eddie Perez, and a lot of the people behind the scenes that no one's ever heard of that I know very well. It pains me to see the Braves off to a start like this, but also the schedule makers didn't do them any favors. You had to start in San Diego and LA. Like, I don't know if any team could survive that, especially the way San Diego is playing right now and the way how good the Dodgers are. That's a rough start from a team coming from Florida, have to go to the West Coast. That's rough. I know we're showing their batting averages, but I mean, I like Drake Baldwin. I like what I saw out of him. I mean, the top four are going to be fine. Top five once they get going. This is not a bad team, so let's not hit the panic button. But they're struggling right now.
Mm-hmm.
At least they don't have Rafi Devers in the lineup, right? I mean, imagine if they had him, how much panic would be.
We'll get to that. But it's the only winless team right now. And I was on an Atlanta radio show last week, and I was like, hey, if you come home 2-5, who cares? This is a brutal gauntlet road trip. Well, now they're just trying to pull off one dub, Kratz, but how much credit should go the other way? I mean, Chris Sale pitched pretty well until his last inning. He got knocked a little by Mookie Betts, and then they added another run with Will Smith poking one through. But the Dodgers are damn good. The Padres haven't lost yet either. We'll talk about both of those teams later in the show. These could be two of the top 5 teams in baseball. Dodgers, everybody knew, and also they're going to be firing on all cylinders right now, coming off a World Series title, plus the acquisitions they made, the big offseason they had. Everybody's pretty much healthy right now of the big people. I know Freddie's out day to day. Mookie was on his way back after missing the first 2 games, although it looks like the 10 pounds that he's off right now still doesn't make a difference because he's a power machine. The Padres look like they were underrated. I know it's early. We're going to overreact, but a week into the season, the Padres look damn good. They look like they're going to be a problem.
I don't know how they were underrated. I think everybody had them as a top 5 team in baseball. I think they were.
No, don't go
Padres,
there.
no.
Absolutely,
On this
do
show?
not go there.
I
I
did
put
not.
them in my
This show?
power rankings at like number
I don't even know if
6.
they were. gotta go
I'll
back.
check back for exacts. And I was the leader at looking there. And tons of people, first of all, when I posted it on YouTube, were like, this is trash. Did you see their offseason? I'm like, yeah, I saw their offseason, but they're also still keeping most of their core together. And guys like Merrill are going to get better, who obviously just got paid. Again, we'll get to that later. A lot of people were down on the Padres. A lot of people were like, really? After that offseason? I'm like, okay, I get it. They lost a few players. They also picked up a player or two. I mean, Nick Pivetta looked freaking money the other day. He joins a different team, changes scenery. He's always had this stuff. Maybe that all comes together for him. Cease, I've said for a while now, is a 1. Michael King is, for the most part, a 1 and looked really good yesterday. No, people were not down on them, Kratz. Not saying that they were going to be a bad team, but I don't think there were a lot of people putting them in their top 5 power rankings.
Okay. I don't think we knew what they had in that bullpen. I think that bullpen has given up a run since the first game of the season. I need to look back at that, but I mean, they just churn out bullpen pieces that are just handling this. I think Michael King went 2 2/3 in his first game, and the bullpen kept him in the game. This team, ever since the start of last year, and even some people could say probably like the last 20 games of the 23 season, they've started to play as a team in the sense of like having team at bats. They don't strike out. Collectively, they don't strike out very much. So they're putting together a really nice run to start the season, and the bullpen is one of the huge reasons. Obviously, Pivetta was dominant second time through. Michael King was dominant. So they have the pieces. Will they hold up? Who knows? To me, their lineup will hold up because every one of those dudes is athletic. You're not sitting there going, I guess besides like a Gavin Sheets who's leading the team in hitting, everybody's versatile. Everybody played shortstop at one point. Now they're playing other positions. And so they know how to hold up and they know how to play together. There's some kind of value about teams who have the same lineup day in and day out. Most of these guys have all hit together for the last 2.5 years, whenever Ruiz came. So not even 2.5 years. Last season, they've been hitting together and they play essentially the same lineup back to back to back.
Yeah.
All right. First of all, let's say this about the Padres. I had them at 8 in my power rankings because I still don't trust their starting pitching. I'm sorry, I don't. Darvish is out. Who knows for how long? Listen, I mean, I saw Randy Vasquez pitch. I mean, are we sold on him being a third starter? He did pitch, but he pitched against the Braves, who can't get a hit with runners in scoring position. So do we trust what we've seen from them? The Guardians don't have the most prolific offense in baseball. They started at home against 2 teams that aren't swinging the bat very well. So do we trust them for 162 games? That's the question. And we do our power rankings in 4 months. We can maybe change where they're at.
That's why power rankings change so quickly.
I had them 6. Power rankings.
He does. He talks about them every day. I had them 6 on my list. Kratz did not have them top 10, and I don't think most other people did either. Would you have them 11?
Definitely 11.
Oh yeah, of course you did. Lastly, here on Lopez, so he's going to miss significant time regardless. I think there's still a chance that he is out for the season. So it's arthroscopic surgery on his right shoulder to determine if he has any structural damage. Expected to miss at least a couple of months. Even if there's no structural damage, he's sidelined through at least the season's first half. There's a chance that they do find damage and he's out for the entire year. AJ, he was money for them last year, right? He's the guy that has always had good stuff. He was in the bullpen for a minute. Of course, he spent some time with the Nats, with the White Sox, part of a big trade, and lands with the Braves. They say, we're just going to let you eat, be a starter, win that spot and go. He does. He was great, but a little bit late, but also he hadn't done this in 3 years, I want to say. So here we go. Became somewhat of a workhorse for them in modern terms. And then now he's dealing with this injury, and they're just not built to be able to withstand too many of these, right? I mean, yes, guys come out of the woodwork for them pitching-wise in the minor leagues, but it's not workhorse city in that rotation.
No, agreed. But this is a huge injury. Listen, anytime you get into the shoulder, Kratz will tell you, once you start digging into a shoulder on a pitcher, that's bad news, man. Especially if they're just doing a scope to see what's wrong with it. That means he's got some serious pain in there in order to do a scope. Because if they can't find it on an MRI or something else, and if they got to go in there and clean up the labrum or, God forbid, a rotator cuff, it's going to be it's bad. It's bad news for Reynaldo Lopez and the Braves. Now, do they have – listen, Schwellenbach's going to be is a stud. Can Chris Sale stay healthy? Smith-Shriver pitched well. We'll see how the Braves hold up through this. It's going to be interesting, but they need some depth, and I don't know where they're going to find it right now.
I'm a big proponent of letting dudes throw, and I love that they let him throw. He spent a little time on the IL last year. I just hope that other teams don't look at it and say, oh, converted guy, hadn't started since 2019. Now he starts for us. Oh, and look what happened to Reynaldo Lopez, because it was a prime case of why Clay Holmes got picked or became a starter. They wanted Jeff Hoffman to become a starter. Like, there's value in that, surplus value, as Scott loves to say. But I hope it doesn't deter other teams from doing it, meaning like, oh, man, well, this is why he got hurt. To me, Reynaldo Lopez was legit last year, and I think other guys can also do this.
Mm-hmm. That's the winless team. There are undefeated teams that we're going to get to over the next 15 minutes. We'll start with the Dodgers next, and then we'll talk Padres with Kyle Glaser, including the Jackson Merrill extension on FT. Hey, let's stare into your puppy's eyes and say, what do you really want? What do you really need in life, Kratz? And when you talk to Bella, what does Bella say to you?
She says nothing. She just rolls over and wants her belly scratched. So I'm the one that has to take care of it. And I'm like, well, I'm an idiot. So, or as people call me on Twitter, a bum. So I let Spot and Tango take care of it. Few easy, quick questions. They got Bella. They've never even met Bella, but I've met Bella and scratched her belly.
Boom. There you go. Check out their Unkibble. It's awesome. There's no processed meats, no fillers, right? Everything you would think about nowadays as a human, you are now applying to your dog. You know exactly what's in the bowl. It's fresh, human-grade ingredients, like high-quality protein, veggies. Take it away, Penelope. You're dominating this one. So it's spotandtango.com/foul, and you use the code FOUL to get 50% off your first order. spotandtango.com/foul. If you want that look from your pup when you open up the box and they're like, yes, please. There's also treats, all kinds of snacks, even supplements for your pup that you can look up online on spotandtango.com/foul. Use the code FOUL for 50% off your first order. FT fam, we have, I think, a little change coming up. Kyle Glaser is going to join us next in about 90 seconds. So we'll look forward to that. AJ, real quick on the Profar news yesterday. I know I mentioned it in the previous segment. When you saw it, were you surprised?
I'm always surprised when guys get popped. Yeah, I mean, it's sad. Was I surprised? I mean, at this point, who knows anymore? I don't know. I played with Jerickson in 2013. I love the kid. He's a great – he always seemed like he tried to do things the right way. He made a mistake, but let's not forget, I'm also very anti-steroids. I played in the steroid era. I never did steroids. I was accused many times, and I was like, I'm going to sue you if you say it again. And, it seemed like with what he said, it wasn't exactly, I'm going to fight this. It was like, I made a mistake, and I'm sorry, and I'll move on, and let's just sweep this under the rug as quick as possible. So, listen, I don't know, man. I feel bad that, people have this happen, but also you got to follow the rules. So, I don't know. It seems like, I don't know. Kratz, you were with J.C. Romero, right? Yeah, J.C. Romero, you played with him. Remember, he got popped, and he fought it like crazy. Remember? I mean, I still think he's fighting it, right? And that's when you're innocent, you usually fight it.
Yeah, the thing he got tested for, I think you inject. So it's hard to not know that that's coming into your body. Let's talk undefeated Padres with Kyle Glaser, superstar host of Friar Territory. Kyle, great to have you on. And of course, you're enjoying watching a little Padres ball right now. But before we get to the team on the field, let's get to the money moves. Jackson Merrill signs this big 9-year contract extension, could turn into 10. What did you think when you saw this?
It wasn't a huge surprise. The Padres had approached Jackson Merrill about an extension even when he was still in the minor leagues, especially given the season he had last year as a rookie, the hot start he was off to this year. There was a sense that this was going to come sooner rather than later. It was just a matter of when. 9 years, $135 million. As you mentioned, it can become 10 years and up to $204 million, depending on various options and escalators. All in all, this was a deal that made a lot of sense for both sides. And again, it was really just a matter of when. This had been in the works for some time.
Is this showing us how much $135 million is? I get it. Jackson Merrill could have been, minus Paul Skeens, he could have been Rookie of the Year last year. But all we heard about the Padres was, we got to cut guys. They're talking about possibly trading Dylan Cease's $10 million. Like, does this show us what $135 million over 9 years really is to a team?
Not necessarily. The Padres have a lot of money coming off the books after this season. Dylan Cease will be a free agent. Michael King will be a free agent. Luis Ariza will be a free agent. So for the Padres, a lot of their payroll concerns were related to 2025. With the money they have coming off the books in future years, Darvish's deal comes off the books in a few years as well. Musgrove's in a few years as well. There is long-term money in the organization. It was more about finding short-term payroll room. But we saw even with the Nick Pivetta deal, the way that was structured, he's not making a lot this year, just a $1 million base salary. But he, depending on if he opts out, will get paid in future years. So same thing with the Jackson Merrill extension. Most of the money, pretty much all of it's going to come in future years. So it was just about payroll for this year. They have plenty of money for future years.
Kyle, it was great seeing you on Saturday. I really, really appreciate the insight you brought to me. Thank you. So thanks before I did the game. Appreciate it. And second of all, have you read all the books on the shelf behind you? Because I just don't know how you keep up with all those books.
This is actually, I'm down San Diego hanging out at my parents' house, just stopped by for a little bit, and they're in the process of moving. So they've actually cleared everything out. So this is not my house. My house, as you guys have seen, there's plenty of books on the shelves.
Okay. All right. And then let me ask you this. Listen, Jackson Merrill deserves every cent he got. He also told me it was very nice to meet. He actually said he was honored to meet me on Saturday. So listen, he should have got $250 million over like 2 years. I don't know. But when you watch this team, this guy hits fourth for this team, okay? He's gotten, how many big hits did he get for him last year? Walk-off homers. He's already done it this year for him. I think, to me, this was a no-brainer. This was we're going to try and catch the Ronald Acuna, Ozzie Albies, Braves extension. And the Padres have done this with Cronenworth and some other guys. I love this move. I just don't see a downside to this at all from either side.
Exactly. When you look at the number of players who have gone straight from AA to the majors and have the success Jackson Merrill has, it's a very, very short list. It's Mike Trout, it's Juan Soto, it's Julio Rodriguez, it's Fernando Tatis Jr. The guys who have done what Jackson Merrill has done in terms of a top 3 Rookie of the Year finish, jumping straight from AA to the majors, they're all superstars. It's a very, very short list. And you consider he did that while also playing an entirely new position, going from shortstop to center field, which he had never played before. You mentioned the home runs. He had 5 go-ahead or game-tying home runs in the 8th inning or later last year as a 21-year-old. The only other players who've ever done that are Frank Robinson and Mel Ott, 2 Hall of Famers. The company Jackson Merrill is in already with what he's accomplished at a young age is pretty elite company. And you mentioned the Acuna extension. That's actually a really good comparison for this one. When you look at, they were both 21 years old when they signed it. They both signed it after great rookie seasons. And funny enough, they both signed it on April 2nd. Acuna's was April 2nd, 2019. So just in terms of where they are in their careers, the timing, what they've accomplished, that's actually the most direct comp. And we've seen, even though Ronald Acuna has had 2 ACL tears and missed significant time, the extension has still been more than worth it, even with some serious injuries. So from the Padres' perspective, like you said, there's really no downside here given what Merrill has shown already. And from Merrill's perspective, it is generational wealth for him and his family. And oh, by the way, he could still be a free agent at 30 and get a second payday.
What kind of projection do you see for Jackson Merrill? Because you see a 20-year-old and you're like, okay, he can do this. Acuna did this in his second year. Are we talking a guy that can get you 40 bags, or like where are those core numbers going to be for the Jackson Merrill prime time?
Well, consider the fact that he already hit 24 home runs as a rookie last year. And let's not forget, he was fifth in the majors in the National League in batting average last year and sixth in slugging percentage. He was already one of the top 6 contact and power hitters in the NL last year. This is a kid who still has room to get bigger and stronger, still has room to improve against lefties. There's still growth for him, which is really, really scary. When you consider he hit 290 with 24 bombs last year and still has room for improvement, I mean, 300 with 30 homers a year and 20 steals a year doesn't feel crazy. That would actually just be a pretty modest improvement for him. He was an all-star last year, and right now he looks like a perennial all-star. Again, it's still early. You don't want to go crazy over 6 games, but just the way he's come out swinging the bat this year, he's balanced, he's on time, it's short, compact, tight, impactful. It's everything you want to see. Frankly, he's swinging. He looks like a batting champion the way he's swinging right now. Again, 330 homers, 20 steals. That would just be a modest improvement over last year, and I think he'll very easily attain that. And I'm not going to put a ceiling on this kid. He can do even more for sure.
Kyle, who's going to lose first, the Padres or the Dodgers?
I got to say, the way both teams are playing right now, it's hard to see either of them losing. In all seriousness, look, we know no one's going 162-0. The Padres head out on the road to Chicago after this home set. That'll be tough. Just anytime you're traveling, the Cubs are a good team, Wrigley Field. But the thing that's been really impressive about the Padres is they're just playing such complete baseball right now. It's all facets: hitting, pitching, defense, base running. Everything has been on point. They're coming up with the big hits, home runs, but they're stealing bases. They're going first to third. They're laying down sac bunts. They're making great reads in the dirt. They're playing smart, aggressive, high-quality baseball all the way around. This is as sharp of baseball as really I can remember the Padres playing. They were great last year in stretches, but just every facet of the game being on point. This is as impressive of a stretch I can remember, and I've been covering this team since 2015 and watching this team since I was 9 years old in 1997.
Wow. I mean, they're stealing bases like crazy, which I don't think a lot of people thought they could do, which is awesome. Then Michael King's been unbelievable his last start. Cease was pretty good. I mean, Randy Vasquez went 6 shutty against the Braves. This team's bullpen has been unbelievable. The question is with Michael King, I know they signed him to a 1-year deal with a mutual option. Why didn't, if they're going to do this with Jackson Merrill, why didn't they go long-term with Michael King also?
I mean, keep in mind, it takes 2 to tango, right? Michael King has a chance to be a free agent after this year, and a lot of players look forward to that. I mean, you can speak to that, AJ. Erik, of course, you can speak to that. I mean, everyone's different. So I think for Michael King, this was, let's get you locked up for this year. We obviously would love to have you back if it makes sense the year after. Again, everyone in San Diego wants Michael King back, and it's just going to be up to him, the kind of year he has. We'll see. He was great last night, 5 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 11 strikeouts. He looks every bit, opening day start didn't go great, but it's opening day. It's March. It happens. If he continues to pitch like he did last night, he's going to be able to opt out and get a massive, massive, massive payday. So it's just going to be about what he wants to do.
All right, Kyle, where in your mind are you most surprised right now? I mean, we can double click more on the stolen bases, or what's one part of the team where you were like, this might hold them back, and right now you're like, nah, they're good.
The bottom of the lineup, the bottom third of the lineup. You knew the top 6 was going to be great with Tatis, Ruiz, Machado, Bogarts, Cronenworth, etc. But there were some real questions at the bottom third of the lineup. Instead, Gavin Sheets has come out and been absolutely on a tear. He's already become a fan favorite. On Monday night, 43,000 people in San Diego screaming, "Holy Sheets." He's already got his own chant. He's been coming with big homers, big doubles. He looks like the type of hitter most projected him to be coming out of Wake Forest a few years ago. We've seen Elias Diaz and Martin Maldonado get some big knocks out of the number 9 spot as catchers. Braden Lockridge has come up with some big hits. Yuli Gurriel had a pinch hit, go-ahead RBI single the other day. So the big question for the Padres was, what's the bottom third of this lineup going to look like? Because look, you need to be able to hit 1 through 9 if you want to contend against the Dodgers, the Braves, the Phillies, and the NL. And so far, so good. Again, it's only been 6 games. You don't want to go too crazy, but I think there's no question after seeing the quality of at-bats, seeing the quality of contact, seeing the production, you feel better about the bottom third of the Padres lineup today than you did this time a week ago.
Was Sheets just a classic change of scenery guy? I know he was in Chicago, but I talked to him on Saturday, and he said he made some mechanical adjustments with his swing, and it was minor. It would be major to somebody that hadn't played baseball, But to talk to him, I understand where he made some adjustments to. Is this something he can keep going, which I think he can, because he's always had power, and he'll get the opportunity, I think, in San Diego. But was this just a case of a new set of eyes on him that's telling him something new?
It's a little bit of that as well as the physical changes. So I've talked to Gavin a few times here over the homestand. First and foremost, he's standing a little more upright in his stance, just getting into a better position to see the ball and also get his load, where he wants it to be. The approach has improved as well. He's using the whole field, and that's what he should be. He's always been a big, strong guy who can go yard to any part of the park. So a little bit of an adjustment with his stance, a little bit of an adjustment in his approach. But the other thing he talked about is he's having fun again. And I want to be clear, he's always spoken positively about his time with the White Sox. It's the organization that drafted him. It's the organization that made him a big leaguer. But he acknowledged there was a 1 or 2 year span there where he just kind of wasn't having fun anymore. And it's hard to have fun when you're going 41 and 121. And we all know that the White Sox clubhouse was not a great place to be the last few years. So he's talked about coming to San Diego. He's used the word refreshed a lot. Refreshed, refreshing. He's used various forms of that word over and over and over again. So I think we're seeing now the Gavin Sheets we knew was always in there. I covered him at Wake Forest. I covered him in the minors when I was at Baseball America, where you saw this was a big left-handed power hitter with good strikes on discipline who had a chance to hit 20 homers a year. Now that he's made some physical adjustments, now that he's having fun again, is just in a better headspace, the great hitting coach in Victor Rodriguez and a lot of support in the lineup around him, we're starting to see the best version of Gavin Sheets. I do believe he will have a good year. 260, 20 home runs or so. That looks very, very possible the way he's swinging the bat right now.
Let's go to Luis Campusano, a touted prospect, came up young, 300 hitter in the minor leagues. He's now back down in the minor leagues. Is this something that it's, hey, you know what, go back down and hit 300 again, especially since he's going to be in El Paso and everybody hits 300 there? Or is this something that his flame is kind of going out for the Padres?
The biggest issue with Luis Campusano, dating back to when he was an A-ball at Fort Wayne, has been the leadership, intangible aspects of the game. Erik and AJ, you guys can both speak to this, but how important it is as a catcher to have the trust of your pitchers, to build those relationships, to do all the things, the work ethic behind the plate that is going to make pitchers trust you. Luis Campusano has always hit. He's always been able to hit. He struggled last year, had some mechanical issues, but there's never been any question about his ability to hit. That's not what the Padres are going to be looking for out of him in El Paso. It's going to be the defense. He needs to improve really everything, his framing, his blocking, his throwing, but also the intangibles, the leadership, the maturity. That is something that has always been lacking with him and something that has been a point of emphasis for 7 years now. And it's still not where Padres, multiple versions of Padres coaching staffs have been comfortable putting him behind the plate. So that's really what the Padres want and need to see. Again, he's still in his mid-20s. He still has time to continue growing and maturing as a player. So you don't want to completely bury him yet. But at a certain point, you need to see those leaps in terms of leadership and maturity and the mental side of the game. It just hasn't happened.
Kyle, let's finish with this. Tell everyone why they should be watching and listening to Friar Territory, whether they like the Friars or they're Padres haters and they just want to check in on their rivals.
Absolutely. We've got a lot of great stuff. We have Mike Cameron and Heath Bell, two former All-Stars as co-hosts, bringing some really great analysis and insight about their careers, what happens, in the clubhouse, behind the scenes. And we talk all things Major League Baseball. Obviously, it's a Padres-centric show, but we talk about all the big stories, what's going on, what opponents are looking like. So whether you're a Padres fan or not, there's information there for you. And again, great insight from Mike and Heath. And it's a good time, as always, with those two as well. Great personalities as well as great baseball minds.
It is really, really good insight. And yeah, I mean, Mike Cameron obviously can, deliver with the best of them. Really good monologues. I guess Heath Bell too. I didn't know as much about Heath, but I mean, he can bring it. He's got good takes and he's watching. He knows Padres.
I'm gonna have to tune in since according to people in the chat, I hate the Padres.
Nah,
Congrats.
That's just a troll with a bad screen name. All right, Kyle, this was awesome. Thank you. Good talking to you, and we'll catch you soon, okay?
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Kyle Glaser, host of Friar Territory. Be right back to cover their rivals, the Dodgers, who made a little trade. Some news from yesterday. The Pirates are optioning closer David Bednar to AAA. Made the All-Star team in 2022 and 2023. Last year was a bomb year in a bad way. It did not work out. 3 earned runs in 3 appearances this season. The one save that he did pick up, he gave a 2-run homer up, and it got real tight. So he just doesn't look himself, Kratz, for a while now.
Talked to him a little bit in spring training off camera, and he talked about how he was more side to side last year. He had some issues that was causing him to be more rotational, and he's like, I'm not a rotational pitcher. So everything kind of flattened out. He said, I wanted to be more north and south, his words. And he said he felt like he was in a good spot. Tough start. Look, you don't just DFA everybody you don't just option everybody that struggles for the first 2 series of the season. But you know what? Pirates decided to do it, help him figure some stuff out. I love that they decided to do this instead of the fake, well, hey, we'll put him on the IL to see if he can work through it. He's going to have an opportunity to work through it. All-Stars, unless there's a major injury, they usually figure out a way to get back to the show.
We'll see. This is not a one-year thing, though. You know what I want to know about this is, remember last year he was the all-star closer we showed in 22 and 23, right? Who did the Pirates bring in last year to help in the late innings? Aroldis Chapman. So was he start looking over his shoulder saying, man, when are they going to go to Aroldis Chapman? I'm not saying this happened, but you know how players work, Kratzy. Why would they bring in Aroldis Chapman? I'm the closer. He's always been a closer. Why would they bring him in, right? It creeps in your head. Did something mentally happen there? I don't know. I'm not saying that that's what happened, but Kratzy, as players, that can creep in there a little bit because as soon as he starts struggling a little bit, guess what they do? They go to Aroldis Chapman and they let him start closing games, and you try to find a place for Bednar to pitch. I don't know. Just a theory.
Yeah, I don't hate the theory. Never have any idea. I don't think any player would ever admit to it. But yet you're always kind of looking over your shoulder. Like, why did they bring in a starting catcher? I'm AJ Pierzynski. I'm the starting catcher. It takes a confident person to be able to push that out.
It happened to me. It happened to me in 2007. 2006, I made the All-Star team. The White Sox signed Toby Hall, who was a starting. And I'm like, why the hell did y'all sign him? I catch 130 games. And they're like, we needed a better backup, right? But I was like, it was just a weird. He ended up getting hurt that year, which sucked for him and for us. But, it was just a weird situation.
I want to get to a story in a moment on who the better athlete is, Mookie Betts or Shohei Ohtani, with some of his teammates answering. But first, the Dodgers are also undefeated, and they made a little deal with the A's. They picked up Esteury Ruiz, who gets a lot of attention over the years for a variety of reasons. He was part of a big 3-team trade. And then at one point last year, people are like, why is he not playing when he was looking decent at the plate, but really has never over a long stretch been able to put it together at the plate. He's fast as lightning. So I could see him stealing bases for the Dodgers as an extra guy off the bench in the playoffs. But he swiped 67 bags in 2023, but he had been DFA'd. And so Alden Gonzalez reported it first. Here's Fabian Ardaya saying that they picked him up from the A's. Slow move for the Dodgers. So is he going to be a star now, AJ?
I don't think he's going to be a star, but he's a nice pickup. Is he on the big league team? That's the question. Is he? Or are they going to option him down? What are they going to do with him? Because their team's pretty set in the outfield. You look at Pages, Conforto, Teo, Chris Taylor, Kike can play out there. They've got some dudes out there that can play and play a lot. And so I don't know. Is he just going to be the 26th guy that comes in and pitch runs for Freddie when he slips in the shower? I don't know.
I don't know. They don't have this dynamic on the team. They don't have the Terrence Gore type of player on this team. I don't know that Esteury Ruiz wants to be that type of guy. I think he understands his value, but you know what? Just another example. It's so unfair that the Dodgers just get all the players. So unfair. No one else had an opportunity to get this guy. Sarcasm.
People are going to say that if he does anything. Just depth. You got to build up your depth and your speed. And yeah, maybe late in the season, he appears on this team and they keep him on a playoff roster. I always think that every team is going to do this, and then most of them don't. AJ is having just an absolute weapon on the bench in the playoffs. I know you got to keep rosters tight, but are you surprised that there aren't more Terrence Gores in our game?
No, because one-dimensional players don't play that much anymore. They don't play. And the Terrence Gore, I mean, Kratz, you played with him. He couldn't hit, so he couldn't steal first, right? So it works in the playoffs, but it doesn't work over a 162-game season because there's not enough times where you're like, man, we really need a pinch hitter only here, right? Because a lot of times the guy would come up again in the postseason. You can throw a guy out there to steal a base. Dave Roberts was a way better player than Terrence Gore. Dave Roberts probably stole the most famous base in history, or one of them, right? But he was a way better player than what Terrence Gore was. Or there was another guy, not Terrence Gore. There was Quentin Berry was another one that kind of had a career of being a pinch runnery type of person who's now the third base coach for the Cubs, right? But it's just because they're so one-dimensional, it's hard for teams in today's game to justify having a guy that can only do one thing on a roster.
The teams that it works on are the teams that have dudes that play 160 games. You have your set roster lineup, and you don't need to go to the bench. But Terrence Gore's got 3 World Series rings. So it's a winning formula. Even if you steal one base and that one base pushes you over the line, I just think there's value there, and good for the Dodgers giving this guy another shot after the A's said, you know what, we don't need him, we'll DFA him.
Mm-hmm. Couple other things from LA. First off, welcome back to Dustin May. It had been about 2 years since he pitched on a big league mound. Remember, he had the life-threatening esophagus situation where he needed surgery. I mean, his story is really, I mean, sad at some points, but now happy that he's back. And damn, AJ, he looked good. I know the Braves are struggling, but he struck out the side in the first 5 innings, 1 hit, 3 walks, 6 punch-outs. Dodgers were down a run early, and then, like I mentioned earlier in the show, Mookie Betts with a little pop. I mean, he's suddenly on fire, and they pick up the dub. But May looked good.
He did. He's another weapon if he can stay healthy. I don't know if anybody watched this game. I stayed up and watched him start, and they kept showing his wife in the stands, and they kept talking about how emotional it was for what he went through last year with his esophagus thing. So for him to come back and be out there after arm surgeries, and then the thing he had where he swallowed like a tortilla chip or something, and then he thought he was going to die, and they had to do emergency surgery on him. So welcome back, Dustin May. Please stay healthy because your stuff is nasty.
Yeah.
Nasty.
I want to keep him on the field.
Nasty. And you were thinking this guy, I heard stuff in the offseason, wow, ease him back into the bullpen, and that arm is just going to play. That arm plays 5 innings, 1 inning, 7 innings, sinkers galore, and his velocity's back. He looks like he lost weight, or maybe just a tighter uni. Man, he's just got, I don't know. He has the it. And the Dodgers lineup, obviously we're not going to hit on them a ton. They just wear teams down. They are the best team at taking team at bats. It's like, it's okay. We didn't get them this time. Keep them out there, though. We'll get you. Oh, you're going to put your bullpen pieces in? Yeah, we're good. We got something on those guys.
Mm-hmm. May, by the way, I know this was several years ago. I don't know if it's still the case. Was not a fan of bullpen action. He's got the Stroman line. I'm a starter. And, hey, that stuff is starter-like. I mean, you happen to be on a team that's got a lot of starting depth. But if he pitches like that, he's going to have that 5th spot locked down for LA. All right, so one more thing. Fun story here from Ken and the Athletic. Undefeated Dodgers have Mookie and Shohei. Who's the better athlete? So I'll give you a couple quotes. Oh, man, I lost my quote. AJ, you go first.
Great quote. I'm just amazed at your quote, Scott. It was amazing. Mookie. I don't know. I've only seen Shohei play baseball, so I don't know, but I've seen Mookie do bowl 300s in bowling and do a million other different things, ping pong and all this other stuff. So I'm going Mookie. I'm sorry. I'm sure Shohei can do a lot of things, but I haven't seen him, so I'm going Mookie. And plus, Mookie's a former teammate of mine. I've only shaken Shohei's hand, so I can't.
You haven't had good deep combos with Shohei. Chris Taylor said, I've never seen Shohei play other sports. Mookie, pretty much anything he does, he's a natural at. You can pretty much put him on any field or sport, and he can thrive at it. Kratz, is this a clean sweep?
I feel like it's a clean sweep. I think it's Mookie, also one of my former teammates. Mookie Betts, easy peasy. Not saying Shohei can't. I'm not saying Shohei's not bigger, stronger, faster, more baseball talented. Mookie's the better athlete.
Okay. Cool. It's settled. Remember the football, who was it? The football player. Was it Hunter? Travis Hunter brought up him versus Ohtani? No. He was good.
Yeah, he said what he does is harder.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that was an athlete talk. That was just difficulty of playing on both sides.
Put Shohei on a football field. I guarantee you could play tight end, and put him on defense as, I don't know, a linebacker. I guarantee you could do it. And then let's see Travis Hunter hit a baseball. I'm going with ain't having it.
I'm with you. All right, coming up next, breaking news. Extension season nowadays is not during spring training. It's actually during the first week of the year. So we'll get to another one that just broke. FT fam, shout out to Homage. Make sure you check out the website and also use our code if you want a little 20% off if you're a first-time shopper. There are so many Major League looks in so many different ways that you can find on T-shirts. There's all kinds of pants. The starter jackets are fire this year, new and more improved, and just every team you're looking for, Kratz, they've got it for you.
I mean, I'm going to hit on the Phillies because they got the old school, the back in the day before I was born, my dad's old school P. But then the starter jacket with the maroon Phillies P on it. Oh, baby, get that, John, because you can wear it all year when it's cold and in the spring when it's warming up.
Yeah, go for it. Heavier, higher quality fill to take you from spring training all the way to the playoffs. We've got them. Check out the website again, homage.com. I love their Grateful Dead baseball line as well. And use the code Foul Territory for 20% off if you are a first-time shopper. Get after it, FT fam. There you go. All right, next thing I want to hit for a minute is the White Sox and the Rockies. Starting pitching is their forte for the first week of the season. Let's not overreact, but we can still throw the tweet up there from Alden Gonzalez on how much those two have dominated on that front. That included yesterday's game. The White Sox had the lead. They ended up giving it up to the Twins. We'll get to the Twins and Brewers later, but 49 and a third innings, 2 earned runs from the White Sox and Rockies starting pitchers this season. That's pretty good.
I saw it coming. I saw we only did our power rankings for pitchers to the top 10. So I had starting pitchers for the White Sox and the Rockies. No, nobody had this coming. It's a great sign, though. It's a great sign that they've put something in. It's a small sample size, short season so far, but just continue to put the boys in a good spot.
Mm-hmm. Very good spot. But AJ,
and then the White Sox bullpen entered the conversation yesterday. All the White Sox fans were happy. I'm sitting there watching the game with my son, and we're like, "Oh, look at the White Sox!" And then the White Sox bullpen entered, and it all came crashing down. So we'll see. But you see my Homage shirt; it's
nice.
Some of us still call it Comiskey.
Yep.
Even though it's changed names like 7 times. Or I call it the Cell because it was awesome. That was a great name for it. But they changed it to I don't even know what now.
And we don't have to. You do not have to know what. It's not
the
our
rate.
job. The Cell, the rate, Comiskey is nice.
The Cell is still the best.
Yes.
FT breaking news, Kristian Campbell has agreed to a long-term extension. He is a week into his big league career. It's 8 years. It guarantees him $60 million. There are club options for 2033 and 2034. This had been talked about over the last several days. Chris Cotillo was all over this story initially. I think Robert Murray was breaking it about 10 minutes ago, but AJ, Kristian Campbell is going to be the starting second baseman for the Red Sox for a long time. Actually, he's a great athlete and versatile enough to play the outfield at some point in his career if they need him to do that too. But This kid just looks like he's got a good head on his shoulders. He's oozing with potential. He's gotten so much better over the past year because he's really getting a lot of the tutelage from the Red Sox organization that's making a difference for him. There are a lot of good stories over the offseason about how he was able to change his swing and just maximize his ability. And I mean, we're seeing it. Now we're going to see it for probably the next decade in Boston.
Good for him. Listen, always get your first one. He's still only 22 years old, so he'll be a free agent again, possibly a 30. I love this deal. This is what we talked about with the Jackson Merrill, the Ronald Acuna deal. This deal could be huge for the Red Sox down the line, but it also gives Kristian Campbell security for the next 8 years, having a good idea where he's going to be and knows he's got money for the rest of his life. So way to go, Kristian Campbell. And listen, this dude's off to a great start. He's 6 for 16 with a homer already in his big league debut. He's playing second base great. I love what they're doing. They're giving him a chance, and he hits right-handed in Fenway, which I think is a big deal. They need this guy. He's there. He's going to be there for a long time. Good job, Kristian Campbell. And you know what? John Henry, you're smoking the cigar. You're sitting there in front of your fireplace. Don't be afraid to keep passing out money. I love this.
I love it. I love it for him. I love it for Kristian. I love it for the organization and for the fans. Red Sox fans have somebody to get behind. A 6'3" second baseman. Not quite the Dustin Pedroia, but the makeup stuff that everybody's talking about, this guy hit 180 in spring training. So people are like, oh, don't get enamored with a great hot spring training. He didn't even do good in spring training. So for Red Sox fans, you got to think, man, all this stuff that Alex Cora, that Alex Bregman, that all the people that follow the Red Sox, Papelbon said it in the offseason, talk about just something different about this guy. And he's around other elite prospects his age. And there's still something that stands out above him. And now they got him for $60 million. Easy peasy. And I think he's a prime candidate for it. The guy just got drafted. He wasn't a first rounder, so he doesn't have, $1, $2, $3 million in the bank that he can just sit on. Now he's got 60 in the bank. Good for him. Good for the team. Baseball needs to do more of this, in my opinion.
Yeah, this is where teams are missing the boat. We talked to Jim Bowden about this the other day, AJ. I'm surprised that some teams are not more aggressive on this front. Sometimes they're like, oh, we didn't even have a chance. I'm like, okay, are you sure? Did you throw a boatload of money at the player, or did you just have an initial combo with an agent? Like, send the official offer, let the agent send it to the player, and let them at 22 years old turn it down. I'm not saying for Campbell, but there are other players. I was picking on the Orioles, for example, with many of their young, I think, really good position players, and none of them signed long-term yet.
I don't know why. This was the old Indians back in the day. I know they're the Guardians now.
John Hart.
But this is the John Hart. We're going to sign Manny, Tomey, all those guys, Sandy Alomar Jr., all those guys to those long deals, and they had a nice long run because they did it. Then the Braves did it, right, with Albies, Acuna, Olsen, Riley, Sean Murphy. They've signed all these guys to long-term extensions, and they've been good for a long time. If you find players that you think you can trust, now they don't always work out. I forget, what was the guy's name in Philly?
Scott Kingery.
Scott Kingery, right? They don't always work out, but if you have a pretty good idea, and the Scott Kingery deal is not breaking the Phillies either when he signed it, but if you have an idea that these guys have good makeup, they have the ability to do this, and they want to be in the situation. If you go to most of these guys at 22, if someone would have come to me at 22 years old and said, here's 8 years, $60 million, I would have said, I'll sign it in blood, right? I mean, come on. I mean, what do I do to get this deal? So I think teams are learning, and they need to pick the right guys. And usually when they do, they work out for both sides, but usually more for the team. Because how many times do you say, man, that player's really overpaid at this point? Not very often. It's usually, man, the Braves are saving how much on Acuna, Riley, and Albies? A lot. So that's where I think the value is.
Yeah, free agency is where you can get burned. But with these extensions, it's few and far between that you look at them and go, wow, that completely bombed. That completely didn't work out. Your Kingery call is perfect. 6 years, $24 million. That is not a big deal for the Phillies. 6 years, 24? You caught him that early? It's not, and it doesn't work? Oh, well, not a big deal for them. It's not. In baseball terminology, for a big market team like that, for any team, it does not matter. That does not make a dent. So, yeah.
What was the guy's name for the Reds? There was one for was it Senzel? Wasn't he one too they signed? Didn't Senzel sign a deal when he first came? Or maybe I'm wrong on that, but I could be.
I don't think
No?
Senzel did. I mean, Tabata did with the Pirates. Remember
Yeah.
him?
Joey T.
Yeah. I mean,
John
Longo, I remember.
Singleton, they went crazy. You remember? He's the famous story. People
Yeah, but
were
he
like,
signed like
"What?"
5 years, $5 million or something. He signed like
No, he
nothing.
signed for 10, and then he
Oh.
flamed out in 5 seconds, and he got himself $10 million. Then he was in abyss
He
for
also
years
had
and came back last
he had
year.
some
It was off the field. Yeah.
other problems going on. But I mean, everyone looks at Rusney Castillo for the Red Sox, who was in AAA forever, but he was an international free agent from Cuba that they signed, right? He was making how much? I mean, Alan
They're
Craig
not allowed to
signed
do that
one.
anymore.
I mean, there are some, but I mean, listen, most of these work out for the team and the player.
Yeah, 7 years, 72.5, largest ever at the time by an international free agent for Rusney Castillo, which was more than the 6 years, 68 that Jose Abreu got. Whew. Jose Abreu was a steal for a while. But yeah, Castillo didn't work out. I think Castillo was under 25. I got to look back to that. But, you can't do that anymore internationally. Like Yohan Moncada, who got a ton of money with the bonus. Actually, no, Castillo was age eligible, so you could still do it. But Yohan Moncada, for example, got the big signing bonus. Then the Red Sox flipped him for sale. You can't do that anymore. You can't. That's why Roki Sasaki only got what he got. Shohei Ohtani only got what he got. You can't sign guys internationally for as much money anymore until they hit a certain age.
Rusney got helped by Yasiel Puig mania out in L.A. Puig came over, and then Rusney, people were talking about him as he was going to be better than Puig. Issue was, I played against him a lot in AAA. The size comparison was not even close. Puig was an NFL running back. Rusney was more like a cornerback. He was a smaller guy, but hey, I think he was Paul Tuckett, back-to-back Paul Tuckett MVP. So the man went down there and he hit. So, it never seemed like he grumbled. Playing against him, he always smelled so delicious. Oh, so much good cologne up there.
You can get that with $72 million.
Michael B in our that works for us had a great point. Who else would we like to see extended? He said, well, Langford with the Rangers would be one. But who are some other younger-ish stars that are just here? Merrill's already gotten it. I guess Skeens would be the one, and then the Orioles guys, Gunnar and Adley, but it's almost to the point where it's too late for them now. But Skeens, I guess, would be the one, even though I don't see him signing anytime soon. But who else? Late. I mean, Langford was a good one.
Dylan Cruz.
Yeah. James Wood, maybe, but it might be too late for him, too.
Tigers
too late already for
Jackson
Wood?
Job.
Yeah,
James Wood. That Oppo taco he hit the other day, that like righties are like feeling good when they hit it, where he hit it left-handed though. That was nice. To me, you get like a Jackson Job. The Tigers have not had success with their young guys that are supposed to be elite prospect pitchers getting hurt. So you know what? Maybe they don't do it, but I think he's built differently than other guys. I think his command and the way he throws the ball is different, but I'm not a doctor.
Cam Smith was a good one. Cam Smith was a good one from Bourbon and Baseball.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
For the Astros.
Yeah, you got to catch him early on.
Ellie, but again, Ellie's like at the point where it's almost too late. Like unless you go crazy like they did with Jackson Merrill, right? Where the 9 years that much. Look at the difference, right? Campbell got 8 years, 60. He's in his first year. Merrill already has a year under belt. He got 9-130. So once you get past that first year, if you don't lock these guys in, the number goes way up if they have a good year.
I got one. Vladdy Jr.
Are we rewinding back to 2020? Like that was the last time they had a chance to sign him to a team friendly. And Ellie, I think, is in the Tatis range now. What did Tatis get? Like 325?
In the mid threes. Yeah, he's got to be at least in that range now.
That's where Ellie's at now. He's way past Jackson Merrill.
14,340 was the extension. Age 22 season in 2021. He signed it right before spring training started. It was the third largest deal in big league history in general. Obviously, there's so many years on the back end where he really starts to get a lot of the cash. But yeah, I agree. I mean, that's where Ellie's at. Ellie's in his third season? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
In the mid-threes.
I mean, look at Let me look at your crinkled baseball card that you left in my house.
Ah,
Let's start.
it hurts.
He debuted 6/6/23. Hold on. Let me make sure I can read that rightly.
You're torpedoing his card.
Scott.
Don't torpedo it.
Look at this. Now it's a crooked bookmark.
Are there onions in this camera?
However, I have another one, Scott, right here. Same one.
Thank you. Please take care of that. Okay, let's hit hot corner.
Or not.
No, we're sizzling. Okay, Nathan Eovaldi was on fire yesterday. CG, he shut out the Reds in Great American Small Park. 4 hits. AJ, he punched out 8. And he did it in 99 pitches. He's been one of the better pitchers in the sport for a while. I think the knock is that he got hurt so often early on that sometimes he's forgotten. But come playoff time, he's been a beast. And you get these when everything's right.
Yeah, this dude's good. Big Game Nate, they call him. Remember what he did for the Red Sox in 2018 when he went like 7 innings in the World Series in that game that Muncy finally won in the World Series? Remember that whole thing where the Red Sox, he saved the Red Sox bullpen? I mean, how long has he been called Big Game Nate for different teams and different organizations? I think that he has always been good when he's healthy. And if he gets that split and cutter going, man, it's a long night for any team facing him because he still throws 95 to 98.
This dude has always had just an elite arm. I think it was Marlins the first time I ever saw him pitch. And then it was the Yankees. It was like, 97, 99 with cut. Easy peasy. He keeps going. I think he's on his 2nd Tommy John surgery. I think he's the most productive pitcher after a 2nd Tommy John surgery or whatever the internal bracing. I'm not sure the exact lingo, but he was great last night and he was great in Cincinnati. So, he wasn't afraid of contact there and did a great job. Like this guy, he seems like he doesn't age. And I'll say it again. I said it before. He is one of the only pitchers that I've ever heard position players rave about what kind of a great teammate he is. Like to another level. Other pitchers, great teammates. This guy really just connects with everybody in the clubhouse. And I see why teams re-sign him when they do, or don't let him get to free agency, or he's really enamored, or they're really enamored with him when he's in free agency.
Texas is going to be a problem.
By the way, Leiter 5 shutout, 70 pitches. They just took him out. I don't know why. I mean, pitch count, I guess, 70 pitches, but 5 shutting in Cincinnati.
Very young guy.
He's not though. He's not that young.
25? What's the guess? 25?
24, 25. Yeah.
Bullpen didn't work
24.
yesterday, so they're trying to get the bullpen work in because Big Game Nate went too long. So like, hey, they're calling from the bullpen going, hey, can we get a couple innings out of for some of my guys down here? They'll reverse bullpen call.
What does that sound like when the phone rings?
Pitchers everywhere. Just
some people love that sound. All right, we've been hitting this one every day, but AJ hasn't talked about it. AJ, Rafael Devers, no MLB batter, has more than 20 swing strikes so far this year, except Devers. He has 35.
Oh.
What's going on?
He don't like being a DH. He hates being a DH. I mean, that's it. He don't like a DH. He don't like a DH. He wants to play third base. I don't know what the hell's going on. I mean, some people, I don't know, some people said he was overweight. I've seen some people said this and said that. But, I mean, the bottom line is the guy don't like the DH. It's very hard to find people that like the DH, okay? I hated DHing. When you catch every day and they're like, go sit over there and take 4 pinch hit at bats. It sucks. I mean, David Ortiz, Edgar Martinez, who else? Every other guy complains about not playing the field. Carlos Delgado was unbelievable, but he's like, I want to play first, right? I mean, how many guys have we seen this happen to? DHing is not an easy thing to do, especially when you're used to playing every day, and especially when as what did Papelbon say when you're a pig and you want the bacon and then you hit homers or whatever? He say make the pigs. What the hell did he say that the other day? But like, I mean, it's not an easy job if you don't do it, and if you really don't sell your heart and soul, which he said he didn't really want to do anyways. It is a hard job to do, man. And people that you can find that do it every day are very special.
So what's the solution here? I mean, he's not going to suddenly be their starting third baseman at this point. Kristian Campbell ain't going anywhere. Alex Bregman's not going anywhere. Tristan Casas isn't going anywhere. And actually, his glove looks better at first. And he's been working at it. And at least early first week here, it does look like it's going to be better. So he's going to have to figure it out, AJ. Nothing's going to change. He's not suddenly going to pop in as the third baseman or first baseman.
I know. My question is he healthy? Because remember we talked about his shoulders, and people have talked a little bit about his shoulders. Is he healthy? That's the question. Especially this shoulder. His front shoulder is a left-handed hitter. You need that shoulder, and he kind of one-hand finishes a lot of times. Is that shoulder healthy? Because if that shoulder's not, it's going to be a long year. And if the back shoulder's sore too. I don't know what shoulder's hurting him. Some people are saying both shoulders. I don't know that for a fact, but to me, he's got to be healthy, and if he's healthy, he'll figure it out. He's too good of a damn hitter. Or he just needs to face Garrett Cole. Oh, wait, that's not going to happen this year. Too soon, true. Derek?
Not Garrett. He said Derek, by the way. Pinch territory.
Derek, yes.
Not Garrett. Hear later. I didn't want someone to say too soon, Garrett.
No. Not Garrett. Derek.
We like Garrett. All right, anyway, we'll swing right back. We're going to talk to Matt Strahm soon, but before that, we'll go over AJ's take on Sacramento. Brent Rooker had an interesting quote about what it's been like, and then we'll also get to the Orioles owner on why they couldn't land Corbin Burns. Good night. Tuesday's locks. BetMGM. We hit. Mets and Marlins under. Good job, Todd Father. Corbin Burns went over his strikeout total. Good job, Kratz. And the Padres won, and they handled the over for me individually since the Guardians were shut out. 7-0 win for the Pods. I was getting a little sweaty, but then the Guardians got sloppy on D, and the Padres are just playing some aggressive base running style of ball right now that I'm really loving. You're seeing guys like Machado with 4 stolen bags, Tatis running all over the place. I'm up 171. AJ's leading the way right now, up 266. The rest are down. So, Kratz, you go first to try and get really close now to the winning side of things. Do you have something for us that could get you in the plus?
Yeah, hopefully I get in the plus. I got a little plus 120 on our boy Tarek Skubal going into Seattle and striking out some Mariners. I think I got over 7.5 strikeouts for Skubal. I think he's going to jump on the train, maybe even a double-digit night tonight or this afternoon out in Seattle.
Okay. Tigers, we're not going to have time for, but I said they're good. They look good the last couple of days. Riley Green with back-to-back homer games now after starting slow in his first few. I was listening to that game for a few innings, and your boy Benetti on the broadcast, AJ, was mentioning how they Riley Green's like, oh man, I've been terrible. I got to pick it up. I'm like, 3 games, all-star, relax. And then he goes back-to-back, big uppercut homer yesterday to give him some extra padding against Seattle. I'm telling you, I think the Tigers are going to be pretty damn good this year.
They beat Logan Gilbert.
That's right. So I think the offense is okay then. People are like, oh, I don't know, that Tigers offense.
Isn't Skubal today too? Isn't Skubal pitching today?
Yeah, that's what Kratz just is hitting on. So we're good. All right. Gambling problem or concern, call 1-800-GAMBLER. We'll get back to more of our picks when we have time a little bit later on, but swinging back next with A's, Cubs, and if we have time, the Orioles.
Yeah, that's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
All right, so let's hit this Sacramento home field advantage, which does not look to be the case in the first two games. The Cubs destroyed the A's in game one, and then yesterday they pick up a closer win, but a win. Kyle Tucker is homered in 4 straight games, and Brent Rooker said, quote, "My hope and kind of my vision is that it feels like a very big SEC college baseball game in terms of the energy that we bring with the capacity that is allowed. Do we feel like this is going to be an SEC environment? This is not an Oakland thing. This is not a Sacramento thing. Last dive bar throwing this out there. It's a John Fisher thing. Day 2, a lot of empty seats and open grass." I think that was that beginning of the game or about halfway through the game? Whatever it is, AJ, I've been to an SEC game. You've been to, I'm sure, plenty of SEC baseball games. That's a vibe. Brent Rooker knows. I don't think that's going to be the case in Sacramento. They don't leave no matter what.
And listen, Rook played at Mississippi State in Starkville at the Dudy Noble, and they have grillers and cookers and everything out in the outfield. It's just smoke coming up in the outfield. They don't leave. They stay until the game is over, and then they stay after. I mean, Mississippi State has condos in left field that you can rent out and stay in condos for the whole weekend. So it's different. People, listen, the first game, everyone was there. The second game, there was not a sellout, I don't believe, and people left early. And the A's, listen, I played in Sacramento in 2000. It was a bandbox in. I don't think that much has changed. They said it was fair for the PCL, but that's comparing it to like Colorado Springs and Albuquerque and places like that where the ball, Salt Lake, where the ball absolutely flies. So you've seen in the first 2 games. I mean, there's going to be a lot of home runs hit in Sacramento, whatever they're calling it now, whatever they're calling that park these days. But it's going to be a fun atmosphere if you want to see home runs. I wouldn't want to pitch there though.
Mm-mm. AJ, does your thoughts on the A's being a sneaky little wild card playoff team change after the first week? Not as much about the results. It's not like they've been terrible.
Damn it, I'm sticking with it. I'm sticking with it.
Weird. Okay.
I took the over on their wins. It was like 71.5. I took the over on the wins. I don't think they're losing 90 games this year. And I think they'll figure it out. I think they have enough. I think Springs and Severino are good at the top. I think they're going to hit a little bit better than what we've seen early. But, I mean, they also played Seattle and Chicago, both teams that are pretty good and expected to be in the playoff race. It's not like they played the Braves. I mean, right? I mean, they played Chicago and Seattle with 2 pretty good pitching teams. I'm kidding about the Braves. Okay, everyone calm down in Twitter world and on the chat. But you know what I'm saying. It's not like the Braves who had to go to the Padres and the Dodgers. The A's have had the Mariners at Seattle with their great pitching staff, and now they're playing the Cubs in a ballpark they don't know. So it's too early. We're not even a week in. So let's everyone take a deep breath.
Okay. What about the Cubs? They look much better lately.
They're scoring enough runs to stay out of their underbelly that is their bullpen. Like they're getting their innings in. They're scoring runs right now. That ball Seiya hit to center field. I get it. It's 403. People are going to be like, well, it just looks like it's short, or well, I don't know how short it is. That ball was mushed to center. And Kyle Tucker hitting 4 homers in 4 straight games. Like, this team's hitting. They're going to have to hit all year. You're going back to Chicago. Wrigley ain't that nice for hitters. As much as people want to say it's awesome, some hitters really struggle. Some days you get some absolute bangers of games, 12 to 13, but it's going to be tougher to hit there.
I'm against you on the bullpen side. Yeah, and I agree. I mean, it's becoming more of a pitcher's park there in Chicago, but I think the bullpen's going to be fine. I think their bullpen was a big problem the last couple of years. I think they've patched it up to a much better place. Is it going to be a dominant bullpen? Not necessarily, but dude, Porter Hodge, I think is going to be a problem. A very legit setup guy. Presley had a rough go over the weekend with command, and then when it was in the zone, it was getting smacked, but he recovered yesterday. So I feel like they're going to be okay, Kratz. I'm against you on this one with the bullpen. I'm not saying they're going to be a great team, but the offense definitely looks better if Kyle Tucker looks like that. Holy.
I mean, they keep bringing Pearson in, and he's not solidifying that role that the Blue Jays thought he was going to be years ago. And I see the same guy. So who are the pieces that Craig Counsell is going to say, and this is the value that he brings. He's going to say, okay, I'm going to go to this guy and I'm going to be like, this is my guy. He's a concrete guy. Merriweather, ex-teammate of mine down in AAA, unbelievable stuff. Needs to have another great year like the one year that he had that was awesome. Porter Hodges, young guy. I think he's the setup, and I love Presley, yes. But you need to make sure if you're going to be a playoff team, we're talking about a playoff team. We're not talking about just winning the NL Central.
Let's get to the Phillies bullpen next. Matt Strahm is about to join us. We're going to talk Phillies pen, cards, of course, and torpedoes. AJ, I watched the Yankee game last night because I'm going to do the Yankees Diamondbacks later for our playback game, and they must have said the word torpedo. I would say the over-under probably 24.5. I mean, it was that many torpedoes thrown out there. If you do a torpedo drinking game, you better go water on a broadcast like that. Anyway, the tweet from someone named Colin Clark. I feel bad for all the travel ball parents that have to buy a torpedo bat for their kid that platoons in left field with a $174 batting average.
No, I mean, it's true. It's true. Listen,
we haven't gotten your torpedo thoughts, man. Give me your 1 minute on torpedoes, and then Strahm will tell us about it.
I'm giving you my torpedo talk right here. All right, I'm going to show you this right now. I know Cam did this the other day. So here's the bat I swung. Right? C243, right? Notice where the barrel goes to. This is all barrel. This is all barrel. Why? Because I hit a ball from here to here every time. See this right here? You know what this is? This is special tape that Major League Baseball made for me because I broke so many bats that they didn't want it flying off in the stand, so they made me tape my bat so they wouldn't break in half. True story. Me and Johnny Damon both went to the same high school. I had to put tape on our bats. But look at how big my head was. Look, the whole thing right here is head. This is all head, right? If you put the part here, they put the part here. Now, I know Cam showed like a C271 that tapered. I wanted as much head as possible because I hit the ball from here to here, right? This is all head. This is nothing new. If you take it and move it from here to here, and I hit most of my balls here, great. But what happens if I hit it here? It's different, or I hit it here. I wanted the biggest head possible. I don't think it's a big deal. I think people are making a big deal out of it because the Brewers' pitching sucked, and they hit a bunch of homers off of it. There's a lot of other guys using it on other teams, and they're not hitting as many homers. So I think this is a much ado about nothing. But way to go for bat companies, because guess who's capitalizing on it? Bat companies. They're like, we got torpedoes. We got torpedoes. Right? And every kid's like, I want a torpedo. My son comes up to me and goes, I want a torpedo bat. I go, well, you better find one when we get to college next year, kid, because I ain't buying you one.
That's good. Hey, the Yankees got torpedoed by Gino Suarez and the Diamondbacks yesterday. What was it? 7 or 8-4, whatever the final was. I mean, they scored 4 runs, not 14. So maybe there was a perfect storm of Brewers pitching having a rough time against the Yankees over the weekend. A team that
by the way,
look
at where go on the box. Go back on go to the box and look at where those pitches were that the Yankees were hitting out. I mean, if this is the box and you could put a dot in the middle, they were.
Yep. Let's continue this combo right now. Matt Strahm, Phillies reliever, joining us. We're on FT. Matt, great to see you. Let's talk torpedoes right off the jump, man, because you've been tweeting about it. Give us your thoughts. Also, AJ was just explaining to everyone how his bat had plenty of whatever you want to call it, juice right in the head, right where he wanted it to be. Okay, right there.
Look,
what do you think? Yeah.
This whole thing, this is the barrel. The whole thing is the barrel, right?
Yep.
Because I swung a big barrel bat that went to a small handle because I wanted the big barrel with the small handle. But
yeah, I mean, I don't think it's the whole torpedo thing. It's as long as it's in the parameters of the rule book with a bat. I mean, I don't care if your bat has waves in it. I mean, use what you want as long as it's legal. I mean, we've all seen it. We see guys stand on the on-deck circle with that spray, and all of a sudden that spray gets on the barrel of their bat. And that's not legal, but we let it happen. And now we're getting a sound check here in the bank. Sorry about that. But But yeah, so I mean, it doesn't bother me. I think, like AJ was saying, I think it's more gimmicky than anything.
Wait, you're saying hitters cheat by putting spray on their barrel? What would that do?
No, it just accidentally gets on there to help spin the ball, but it's just an
Oh,
accident.
what would? It accidentally gets on there and spins it. But what does that do? I mean, hitters don't want the ball to stick to their bat. That's what fans are going to say.
Yeah, because spinning a ball doesn't make it go farther. I don't think golfers worry about spin rate at all, right?
Okay. Okay.
It's weird when you golf. Matt, I'm going to teach you a trick in golf. If you're struggling to hit a driver, just act like you're putting chapstick on your lips and put it on your club face of your driver.
I don't act like it. It's just in my bag. I just put that
Oh,
shit
imagine.
It's just
You'll see how straight it goes. It is a huge difference. That's why if you go to golf courses, Scott, you don't know this. They don't sell chapstick. A lot of them don't sell chapstick because if you just take a little Vaseline chapstick and it happens to get on the face of your driver, that ball goes dead straight and has no spin. It goes forever.
That's honestly something I've been telling the hitters. Like you hear it all the time. Someone comes in, they're like, "That was 102 at 26. So and so's at 97 at 26 left the yard." Well, his spin efficiency and his spin rate was probably better how he clipped the ball. So if these guys can figure out a way, instead of getting a better barrel, but I don't know, texture your barrel maybe have a little sandpaper texture on your barrel, and then you can spin the ball better and the ball will carry further. I mean, we all want more offense, right?
That's illegal. That's illegal, Matt. Now that what you're saying right there, that would be illegal to do. That would be illegal
really?
because
nobody's bat's textured in the big leagues, right?
So there is a rule where it has to be shiny and round and not flat, or because my BP bat, I used to use the same bat for BP.
Their bats get checked like my hands when I come off the mound, right?
All the time. I checked every bat when a hitter came up. I'm like, oh, this guy's sticky. Like
that's because you were on top of your shit.
Like George Brett.
The umpire.
I was like George Brett. Yeah.
Yeah. But why? Let's just have the hitters start handing it to the home plate umpire before the at-bat starts.
Okay. Well, you're sitting in the rich seats there. Like, is that good enough? Is that a good enough location? You can just have somebody checking the bats right on deck before they even go up. You think they should employ somebody to do that?
I mean, I think they have the employee that they hire, the authenticator who prints money all game for them, so they should just have him look at them.
The authenticator who sits by the dugout and takes the ball and puts a sticker on it and is like, this pitch was strike one, foul ball from Matt Strahm to James Wood. And then they go and sell it for $80. Yep, that money doesn't come back to players either, by the way. That stays in the war chest for all those free agents, if fans were wondering.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, I mean, it's again, we understand what we want a good product on the field. We want an entertaining product on the field. So whatever that is, let's just have it that. But let's not. I don't know. It's getting gimmicky with all this stuff, and then the whole checking, and I don't know. It's a bit much. Let's just play baseball.
I just want to clarify. You were kidding when you said that players use illegal bats, right? Because people out there.
Yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure. Okay. I just wanted to make sure that we clarify that because no pitcher that I ever played with ever put anything sticky on a ball either. Okay. I just want to make sure we know that.
Yeah, exactly. So it goes both ways, but of course ours depletes offense. Theirs increases offense. What do the fans want to see? They want to see offense.
Gosh, you sound just such like a typical pitcher. It's ridiculous. Such a typical pitcher. I mean, a typical pitcher. It's unbelievable.
I'm all for it. Hey, I'm here for it. It's just the whole I was always anti-sticky. I mean, I remember in 2016 when I debuted, I was in the top 10% of spin rate. My spin rates haven't changed. I don't crack the top 50%. So it's like, I mean, I don't think everyone just all of a sudden got better than me. I think they were starting to use stuff. And I mean, it got egregious. It got over the top. But I mean, you see things like the game too, again, is pressing these pitchers to throw harder. They want you to throw harder. They don't care about locating it. And in turn, that's going to get guys hurt. And I mean, as well as anybody, back in the day, if a National League pitcher couldn't control it, he still had to step in that box. So you thought twice about going up and in on a guy if you couldn't control it. Now there's no repercussion for that pitcher. So we're still going to chase the spin rate. We're still going to chase the velocity. We're still going to chase the stuff. And we're not worrying about the hitters. I'm sorry, but we have to worry about our job. And our job is to keep our stuff as sharp and as nasty as possible. And that's max effort all the time. So,
hey, take us through your tweet. So you tweeted about the torpedoes and it got a lot of attention. What did you see from a reaction standpoint? And I think you replied to a couple of them too, just to make sure that you got your point across.
Yeah, no, I think everyone was in agreement with what I had for the most part on my tweet. The one, like, people saying, yeah, just give us whatever sticky. I've seen a couple like bring steroids back, and it's kind of funny because, again, we're in the entertainment business. So don't we want to have a product that everyone's flocking to watch? So whatever we can do to make it that, let's do that. I mean, I don't care. Give them Mark McGuire's bomb bat, whatever that was when we were 12 years old. Let's use that and see if I can keep the ball in the yard. But, I mean, because the way I look at it is if we increase the offense, the average quality start is no longer 6 innings, 3 runs. It's 5 innings, 3 runs, or 6 innings, 4 runs. And, like, it all changes. It's all compared to itself. I get the historians of baseball. Like, you see guys complaining about Judge hitting a home run off a position guy. And it's like, well, the game's changing. So it is what it is. But it's – as long as it's an even playing field, I don't care if games are 15-12, but let's just make it all even.
You think it could ever get to the point where pitchers would be in danger, or do you feel like pitchers are in danger now? Not of arm injuries, of the fact that they're throwing so hard and hitters are trying to hit the ball as hard as they can, and you guys are so close. Yeah,
I mean, it's definitely it's a dangerous position for sure. I mean, anything exiting 115 coming back at you, I mean, they have 60 feet to react to 99, and some of them say they can't see it. So we're 54 feet away when we're done throwing the ball and 115 coming back at us. It's basically just dodgeball. But, I mean, we're in danger, so to speak, but we all know that, and our paychecks reflect the danger, I guess. So it's good enough.
Hey, Matt, before we let you go, I know you have your own card show. Right? That you do all the time?
Yeah.
The card life, okay, so does this pain you? I did this to Scott's Ellie De La Cruz card.
No.
Like
a little bit.
I mean, but then I have another one. But then I have another one right here. So it's like it's a common card. So it's not like it's worth it's worth like 7 cents. Okay. So I mean
it's less common than the base card. That's a refractor in your right hand, isn't it?
They're the same. They're exactly the same.
Both refractors. Yeah.
Yeah. See, look, they shine bright like a diamond.
It's a couple bucks.
Yeah, no. But it's funny that you did that because my daughter this offseason, we were opening cards, and it was 2 weeks after we got bounced by the Mets. And I was like, you want to open some cards? She goes, yeah. But if we get any Mets, we got to throw them away. So she's on board with AJ to any card that's not a Philly she wants to throw away or crumble. So.
Wait. This is big. So let's say she pulls, man, who would be a big Met right now?
Juan Soto.
We hit
like a Juan
we were
Soto
opening Sapphire. We were opening Sapphire, and we ended up opening a Lindor Gold, so numbered to 50. Ooh. And I didn't show her. I just slid it across the table because I wasn't throwing that one away.
We don't trash this. We don't trash value.
No, exactly. So she's learning, but it's fun. I joke with people.
Uh-oh. Phone call.
Oh, he's back. No, he's back. He's back. It just froze for a sec. You're back, Matt. You got us or no? I got a little choppy.
She acts like a Philadelphia.
Oh, no.
No, it's the good part.
I don't know what's happening.
Lost that. You got that Yankees minor league Wi-Fi.
Whoa.
Kratz, now you got to reset yourself. We got all Hello? Crooked suddenly. Oh, Strahm, you're back. Matt, I think you're back. Let's try. Things are getting wild here.
Yep.
Last chance. Nope.
Here you go. Oh, well.
And then it was just you and me, AJ.
Finally.
Wow. Life hit us fast. But anyway, that was good. Kratz is gone. He's gone for the rest of the show, actually. Bye, Kratz. We love you. See you later. Anyway, actually, I do want to mention this, too, on our way out. And we'll hit a break. And thank you, Matt Strahm, for joining us. That was a fire appearance in many ways, even through the card story with his daughter trashing Mets cards. That's hilarious. But also, what were your thoughts on what he said at the top? Do you think that bats need to be checked? Do you think that – oh, there he is.
He's back.
All right. Let's finish strong here, Matt. We lost you at the finish line, so
Sorry.
give us where you were at. No, you're good. You're clear again.
Yeah, no, I was just saying my daughter, she's raised in Philly, so she acts like she's from Philly. So it's all Philly or nothing.
So she hates Santa Claus. She hates Santa Claus.
She's
Santa
not
Claus.
there yet. Not there yet. Santa still brings her gifts, so she's with him.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah. Although,
Does
hey,
she-
if
does
you
she
go to
walk
like
around-
a
Did she walk around the house going like this? Fly, Eagles, fly all the time?
Not quite, but she did. She loves the Eagles, the colors and everything. So she's getting there.
she's going to
She's
be a
all
rowdy
baseball.
fan. Oh,
Yeah,
all baseball.
she's all
But
about
she's going to be a
baseball,
rowdy
yeah.
fan if she's hanging around the bank. You know, she might
Oh yeah.
might drop a word that she shouldn't drop, but like you got to just appreciate the area and say, okay, it's fine. That's how we talk here.
Exactly.
You know, a guy goes 0 for 3 and we freak out. So anyway, obviously follow Matt on his socials. Check out more on the card show. Matt, thanks for stopping by on short notice. I think it was definitely worth some pitcher perspective here. AJ, last word. What do you got?
Matt, I'm in Philly on Saturday when you guys play the Dodgers. Where do I need to go eat?
Shoot. See, my wife takes care of me, so I don't eat out much. I'll shoot you a text. Nola's my guy for that, so I'll ask Nola. He'll hook you up
And tell
right.
him don't say Reading Market. I know Denick's at Reading
No,
Market.
yeah, he's got a good.
Like I need
steakhouse
somewhere
for you.
good.
Yeah,
Okay,
he's got a good
perfect.
steakhouse. He sends everyone to. I'm blanking on it right now, but I'll go in there and ask him, and I'll shoot you a text.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And I'll see you on
Right
Saturday.
guys. Yes, sir. Y'all have a good one.
Thanks. You too. Appreciate you, Matt.
No problem. Take it easy, guys.
You too. Matt Strahm with us on FT. Check out his show, Card Life. Obviously, give Matt a follow on Twitter as well. Really, really good insight from him. And, we need more of that at Matt Strahm. And lastly, the Phillies show, which covers the Phillies and is the most downloaded Phillies show out there, is right there. There's your little promo. But they are live at Citizens Bank Park tomorrow. And we'll show a clip from that show either tomorrow or the next day. They're interviewing John Middleton, owner of the Philadelphia Phillies, tomorrow. Very excited for that conversation. But if you happen to be at the Rockies-Phillies game tomorrow, you can figure out how to get your way over to the area where they're doing the show live before the game. It's an afternoon game, so you'd have to get there a little bit early, but it's going to be awesome. Todd and Jim and Ruben will be there, along with the owner of the Phillies, with an in-depth convo on the state of the Phillies from the guy who makes all the decisions. All right, FT fam, we'll be right back.
FT fan, what's up? It's your boy Parlay Pap coming to you. I know I ain't started off hot, but we gonna get hot. Just trust me. Don't worry about this now, okay? It ain't how you start, it's how you finish. So, look, I ain't gonna do no parlay today because we got later games I gotta pick. But anyway, I'm going with the hot hand in the Padres right now. Padres are playing some damn baseball right now. So, in the run line, -1.5 is +120, so I'm going to put 200 on it. We're going to win 240. Let's get that cheese.
Good luck, Pap. AJ, you can pick on him while he's down right now.
He didn't pick the White Sox for once, so he's already learned his lesson on that, which is a big deal for him because normally he just picks against the White Sox all the time.
All right, so what are you doing tonight?
Well, I'm watching baseball games. What are you doing, Scott?
I, too, am watching baseball games and actually calling a baseball game with the Diamondbacks and the Yankees on Playback. But also, what is your lock for tonight?
My lock tonight, I got a parlay since I've taken over for Parlay Pap. He's out. I'm in. I'm going Phillies. We had Matt Strahm on. I love the Phillies tonight. Wheeler pitching over 7. I think they get to Freeland. And Phillies money line, bet 100 to win 150. That's an easy lock. Click, lock it up.
Boom. There you go. I'll go with Crochet on the mound for the Red Sox to pick up a dub for Boston. See if you can give them 6 good innings against a really good Baltimore Orioles lineup. but I just thought that this game would be a little chunkier on the Red Sox being favored. It's minus 125. I actually saw it earlier than that at like minus 115-ish, and then it jumped by the time I locked it in. So I'll play by the rules, minus 125. So 125 to win a hundo. See if the Red Sox can celebrate Kristian Campbell Extension Day. And maybe Campbell has a day, and eventually AJ Devers is going to get a hit. So maybe this is the game that it turns around, because now he knows that Campbell's.
By the way, why did we change my picture? Why'd we change, producer lady? Why'd we change my picture? What happened to my cool picture I had?
I can't answer that, but we can find out. What picture
what
do
happened
you
to my
want?
other
That's just the picture you want.
It was the one I had before where I have like, I don't know what I'm doing picture.
Oh, they're going to find it. They're going to find it. We'll
I don't
work
need
on
the
that
one where
for you
I'm in
tomorrow.
I don't need a suit and tie picture.
Yeah, that's too proper. Hey, you feel like you've got a good lineup of bets for MLB action? Parlay Boost Token time to score a bigger payout on the BetMGM app. Go there. You always have some exclusive signature bets as well. Gambling problem or concern, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Three fireballs all day.
How did you know what he wanted?
We had chemistry.
こんなソースを入れるのか?
Nice. I love that commercial from Levy. They've got a great campaign with the new baseball donuts. So I've wanted to do this for a long time. So joining us on behalf of Levy, the hospitality partner of the Chicago Cubs, is Levy chef and senior vice president of culinary, Ron Krivicic. And Chef Ron is what we can call him. He's going to tell us about the baseball donuts, but also everything else that's happening over at Wrigley Field. So Chef Ron, great to have you on the show. I'm excited to get into some food talk at the ballpark. How are you? And how's the food life going for you in this first week of the season?
First week of the season, it's going great. We've had some great play. Little slow on the south side today with a little bit of rain, but north side we're going to have a little bit of weather, but it's going to be chilly, but we'll get there.
Chef Ron, first of all, I mean, Scott's talking about Wrigley. Can we talk about the other side of town? I mean, let's talk about where real Chicagoans hang out, okay? I mean, let's talk about the food. You guys used to give us food in the clubhouse all the time, so I know all about your restaurant and what you guys do. What's the cool thing this year at White Sox Park? Forget the Cubs, no one cares.
We went and we did the we had such luck with the s'mores milkshake, and the chef created a brand new celebration milkshake, 20 years of your World Series win, AJ, and it is fantastic. We've got a little pinwheel cookie for the scoreboard, and it's with funfetti cake and funfetti ice cream. It's delicious. So, and we're selling about 400 a game, so that's great.
All right, so what's the difference between the new milkshake and the donut? Because I got to get my hands. We've had Jackson Holiday talking donuts. Now we got Shoda talking donuts. I mean, I'll be the White Sox guy to talk donuts. Let's talk donuts.
It's a great, just simple fried donut that we did here in Chicago, and you're able to inject it with either chocolate sauce or strawberry sauce. You choose, and coated in vanilla frosting, and then the laces are frosting as well, and you just kind of have at it, and it's really delicious. And Shoda was great enough to do it before he went over to Japan for the opening series, and it was great.
How do you come up with this stuff? The campfire milkshake obviously was a huge hit for the Sox last year. The donut, I can't wait to get there and try one. So how do you guys come up with this stuff? Every year you come up with new food items for all the ballparks. How do you guys do it?
Yeah, we strategize. We talk to the chefs that are in property. We talk and we listen to the guests too. What are they looking for? Because you're always going to have the hot dogs. You're always going to have the pizza and the chicken tenders. And we want to do something unique. And like at Wrigley, we're rotating specials throughout every homestand. So we'll start out with a jibarito, and then we're going to go into a lobster roll and a Philly cheesesteak, just to get some excitement, for other food, because everybody in Chicago knows Chicago food. So when the visiting team comes in, they can celebrate Chicago food, and then we'll give them a little taste of what they're used to as well in their home ballparks.
Chicago dogs, that's what they need. They all need Chicago dogs. Okay, but how do I get to be on the taste testing crew of all this new stuff? That's what I want. I could see your last name. I think you might. Are you Polish? Because
I'm half Polish, half Slovak. Yeah. So yep.
Yeah. So I need to get on that taste testing crew here, as a fellow Polak.
Yeah, and we'll start actually in in September, right near the end of the season, and we'll get rolling for next year. So I'll keep you on speed dial, and have you come into Chicago, and we can have you work on some stuff with us.
Chef Ron, what's your favorite dish? I mean, if you want to run through like app and or more of your entree style than your dessert style, go for it. But whether it's now, all time, something you came up with, or it's something that just sells hot all the time at the ballpark.
Yeah, I mean, with baseball, you want to keep it. We try to keep it handheld so guests can go to their seat and enjoy it. We don't like to fork and knife too much. And kind of being in Chicago and being with Levy for so long, I kind of did a homage to where we began in '78 at a delicatessen. And we're serving some really phenomenal DB Kaplan sandwiches throughout, the areas. Definitely at Sox and over at Wrigley, we're going to run some of the specials. And it's just, it just brings you home, because who doesn't want a great Reuben sandwich, at a ballpark? You can always get the Maxwell Street Polish or the Chicago dog. But to be able to do a Reuben and then, do a great turkey sandwich. And, the one that I'm excited about, we're doing short rib sandwiches at Wrigley that we're going to be able to, serve, with some sauteed broccolini. And it's just going to be, fantastic.
We're getting some fan questions too. So let's start with Billy. He said, what's the most challenging meal that you guys have put together? Maybe something that was in the works for a while. And if you can add to this, how long does it take to get from idea to actually implementing something new at the ballpark?
We there's things that we work on for a year, to really fine tune it, because you have to make sure the quality's there for the guest. And some things will hold well and some things won't. And if you don't have the cooking capability to be able to cook right in front of the guest, or a la minute, as we say, then it's tough. So we have to make sure that it holds well and it's going to carry over, and the quality is going to be there for the guest.
Okay. And anything else new that we should know about? I know AJ's getting hungry. We got 15 minutes left in the show. But anything else new that we should know about? Or I love the way that you threw out the numbers too. I mean, I'd love to know more about that sometimes, whether it's from the past or now. You said, hey, we sold 400 milkshakes. I always like to know, hey, we can look generally at the capacity of a ballpark and how many people are hitting up a certain item.
Yeah, we know we've got a whole analytics team, just like, the clubhouse that looks at, food sales, beverage sales, and, how long it takes guests to get through lines. And, we really like to look and celebrate, it's America's pastime. And, to me, opening day has always been, the kids are getting ready to get out of school. And, as we say, the kids can play. And, I just love baseball. And, we look at it to make sure that, we have enough food for everybody. Like we used to at Wrigley have gourmet hot dogs, and they were different styles every homestand. And, people kind of got tired of that and it kind of went away. But, we look at neighborhoods and we try to cook neighborhoods. The Jibarito is a great one. And, looking at doing pills and tacos over at White Sox. I mean, just some great food that, the neighborhoods, have, and we just bring it to the ballpark because everyone's aware of it.
Ron, what was your number one selling dish last year? And why was it the campfire milkshake?
I think the campfire milkshake, I mean, it was a media frenzy for sure. The chef that came up with it, he called me and he goes, hey, I'm thinking about doing a peanut butter chocolate or s'mores? And I said, well, I personally don't like peanut butter that much. Ate enough of it as a kid. I'm like, let's do a s'mores. And, I sometimes it's just, throwing a dart at the wall and figuring it out. I mean, I never thought that we'd have, legs on that. And then even with this new one, we've got a great brand for the 125 of how long the Sox have been in the, the league and, again, 20 years of the World Series. So, I mean, I think it's great. You just never know. You just never know what it's going to be. And, for us to dip, 500 milkshake glasses the night before a game, I mean, takes time.
Ron, do you have a rivalry? Because you're at Wrigley. Do you have a rivalry with the guy at Comiskey at on the south side? Is there like a north-south rivalry, or somewhere else maybe like a Cub-Cardinal rivalry among chefs? Like who can make the better milkshake?
Well, we do. We're broken up. I'm lucky enough to work for both. So for both Sox and Cubs. So, but definitely the chefs that are in unit, from Wrigley to Sox to Dodgers to Nationals to the Orioles to Arizona Diamondbacks. There's competition all the time. Who comes up with the best ideas, and so we do that a lot.
One more for me on this topic. Do you share info? Like, is there a group chat with you and say the Dodgers chef and he's like, oh, this is selling like crazy, and then you text back, well, everything's selling like crazy, the Dodgers are selling out every game right now, talking smack or sharing ideas?
No, we're always talking business because it's what we do, and we want to see if we could take something that's great and modify it a little bit that would work in the Midwest or out in Nationals and Baltimore, just to see.
Last one, actually. So just going back to the donut for a moment, you guys came up with the baseball donut. Are there any ideas to keep expanding on that? The early, obviously, returns seem like they've been high on fans that like to actually take a picture with it, right? We're in a new world. Like, it tastes great.
Totally
You put that part together. But then also, I've seen it online. Someone's got, the donut, the Instagram or whatever social app they're going for, TikTok, gets to eat first. It's a pretty nice little baseball donut. All the seams are tight. They take the photo and then they dive in. So how much of that goes into your thought process these days?
Well, we team up with our marketing team as well. And, when we're throwing the spaghetti on the wall to try to figure out that new wow idea, that they come into play and they're like, how can it work on social? Because that's how we have to think now. So it's definitely part of it.
I am excited to get to a park where I can get me one of these donuts. I'm going to have to get like 10 of them, just line them up and just right. But I got to ask you this, and I don't know if you're in charge of this, but Ron, I got to know this. So if you get a Chicago dog, right, the hot dog fits in the bun, but then you go to LA and you get a Dodger dog, and there's like 3 inches that stick out of the bun. Can we not get a Dodger dog that fits in the bun, or can we get a bigger bun? The bun to dog ratio is way off on a Dodger dog.
Yeah, we there's definitely something that we can do with that. The Dodger dog is, it's, if you look at it, it's the thickness. They're a little thin. Where here in Chicago, it's more of a 6-to-1. So it's a couple ounces, and that one's a little longer. We can always go with a foot long. We serve foot longs for a long time, and we still serve a foot long Maxwell Street Polish on the south side. So.
I've got it because we're ideating here. Torpedo dog.
Yeah, well, we could do that. That could be something. It could be, in the middle. It could be really thick, right?
Exactly, right? The weight distribution there, AJ.
Yeah.
That's all the rage right now in the first week. Well,
That's
Chef
right.
Ron, this was awesome. Thank you for the insight. Really appreciate it. Thanks to Levy for helping to set up this conversation. And have a great rest of the season.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, FT fam. Hope you enjoyed that. Our first chef at the ballpark on the show. All right, we're back. That was cool, though. I always wanted to know a little bit more about the ballpark food situation, and I'd like to do that more this year in general. And if you're watching right now, obviously, especially on YouTube, comment below and let us know if you enjoyed that. But also if there are any other jobs, baseball related, that you think we should hit and have a conversation with someone for 10 minutes about, right? It could be a clubby. I just don't know if most of them are going to be allowed because they'll probably say something that'll get them in trouble. People are worried about that stuff, but I don't know. There's hundreds of employees that work within the baseball ecosystem per team. So I think it'd be cool to catch a few more throughout the year because we can just talk about whatever we want on this show.
Clubbies ain't going to talk, though.
They're not allowed, right?
Well, they're not allowed. I mean, they can, but they just don't because, they're not. That's their job. Their job is to not talk about what happens.
It's Fight Club.
There was one of the great signs we've talked about on this show before in Texas. It was in the old Texas Rangers clubhouse, and it said, "What you see here and what you hear here stays here." As you walked out of the clubhouse every day, it was perfect. What you see here and what you hear here stays here. So every person that walked out the door, it was huge, and you had to read it every time.
I see the same thing in Vegas when I'm leaving at the airport. Same thing. Same thing apparently applies. All right, so coming up next, we will have a few extra minutes on slap hands, so we'll get to a couple injuries, including Sean Manaea out for a little longer, and if we have time, we'll get to that quote from the Orioles owner about them missing out on Corbin Burns, and then we'll get prepped for Diamondbacks Yankees later tonight. Let's slap. And one last reminder to everyone, you can catch us tonight. Me, Cam Maven, Derek Lewandowski, Jesse Friedman, all on the call for the Yankees and the Diamondbacks. Download the app or watch on playback.tv/foul territory. Sign up for a free account and you can enjoy the live stream. You hook up your MLB.tv account. We all watch together on the screen. It's like an alt cast. It's going to be fun. And AJ, the Yankees turned out to be human. They lost yesterday. They were in control. And then bases loaded. Mark Leiter serves up a changeup or a splitter, whatever, to Gino Suarez, who has not been able to miss lately in the first week of the season. Player of the week, grand slam. Dude's on absolute fire right now, leading baseball with 5 homers in his first 5 games. Great pickup from the Diamondbacks. I know he started slow last year. He picked it up later in the season, and he single-handedly won them that game yesterday with that swing.
Yeah, it was great. Listen, if you've ever talked to Eugenio Suarez, Gino for short, he's unbelievable. He's a great dude. He's an awesome guy, and he's always smiling. People rave about him in the clubhouse, and he hits big homers for you. And he's a free agent at the end of this year. Expect a big year out of old Gino, but that home run last night, man, that crushed Yankee fans, crushed Derek Lewandowski, and it was just, the Yankees were never going to lose, and then all of a sudden they lost.
Yeah, not to pick on the Mariners, but I remember he was taking some of the brunt of the blame for the high strikeout totals for Seattle a couple of years ago. So they got rid of him. They really need a third baseman. Talking about Seattle, Gino is the best hitter in baseball in the first week of the season now. I guess him and Judge. Anyway, we'll talk much more on that later on tonight. Let's get to a few other notes. One, Sean Manaea, setback, shut down a couple more weeks. This according to Carlos Mendoza. Will Salmon from The Athletic with the tweet. Manaea needed a full spring training ramp up, so that obviously pushes his timeline back. So now we're going to late May, if not early June, if everything lines back up once he can pitch again.
Great. Great.
Not great. I mean, it sucks, but think about this. When we entered the season, almost everybody had the Mets, the Mets, the Braves, and the Phillies in the playoffs. I think the Mets should be good. The Braves should be good and recover. I'm not too concerned about the Phillies right now, but there is definitely a chance that, for example, AJ, the Dodgers, the Diamondbacks, the Padres make the playoffs. You know, maybe the Central's a little better than we anticipated, and all of a sudden you only have the Phillies and, say, the Mets or the Braves making the playoffs instead of all three.
Yeah, listen, when I said great to the Manaea thing, it's like great, meaning like great, oh no, this sucks. If you're a Mets fan. Like, no, like these setbacks happen a lot. Hopefully he gets healthy soon, but the Mets need him. The Mets need him. The Mets need all the pitching they can get. Senga didn't look that great last night. So we'll see. But, hopefully Sean Manaea is a great dude, gets back quickly and can pitch for the Mets and drop down and throw like Chris Sale somewhere.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you. And lastly, I know I promised it earlier, David Rubenstein, the owner of the Orioles, said money was not the issue in Corbin Burns choosing closer to home Arizona over Baltimore. What?
Really? You know what? If it wasn't an issue, then you would have given him more and he would have stayed in Baltimore.
Exactly. $250 million would have kept him in Baltimore. I'll tell you that.
Right.
He said, I'm not sure what amount of money would have made a difference. We were prepared to put in that money necessary.
Well, I guarantee you, if they would have gotten over the Arizona deal, he would have gone to Baltimore. They didn't. They probably were in the same range. No tax in Arizona, I don't believe, right? Lives at home year round.
Lower tax. So, yeah.
Lower tax, yeah. So, I mean, listen, there was a lot of incentives for Corbin Burns to be in Arizona, and he delivered. He pitched well last night.
He did. He pitched well, kept him in the game, and his team came back. That team can score runs. It's going to be a fun game tonight. Carlos Rodon on the mound for the Yankees tonight. And who is it, Gallen? I'm forgetting real quick. Someone help me.
Yes.
But it's a good matchup. Yes, Gallen against Rodon. And we will see you tonight on Playback.